It's a pleasure to be here.
So my first question to you is, would this doctor, who by all accounts saved so many lives, is there any chance he faces any legal action against him?
No, not really, because number one, basically it has to be the owner of the premise that would try to push charges against him, which obviously that's not going to happen. And then second of all, he would have the defense of necessity, which basically says that if you break one law to prevent a greater harm, then you're excused for your illegality for breaking that law.
Okay, and he certainly did prevent greater harm, that's for sure. My concern in a case like this is, here you have Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where it just happened outside of Philly. You got this anti-gun crazy mentality, especially up in the Northeast. This hospital where it happened, guns are banned inside that hospital, but this should be a lesson to people not to have gun-free zones.
Well, yeah, this is actually, aside from the very, very unfortunate occurrence of the caseworker being killed, this situation pretty much is an exact rebuttal to all of the anti-gun rhetoric. We had a crazy person who, by all laws, should not have had a gun in the first place. So we see how the gun control laws failed to keep this person who had been diagnosed as insane or having mental disorders. He had been convicted of gun crimes in the past. So all of their laws should have kept him from having a gun. That didn't work. Second of all, he shouldn't have had a gun in the hospital. So clearly that law didn't work either. He began shooting people. He unfortunately killed that one lady. And it just goes to prove the old adage that the only thing that will stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Their gun control laws didn't do it. Their gun-free zone didn't do it. The only thing that did it was him meeting somebody, running into somebody who had the equal right of self-defense and was able to take him out.
This is the district attorney. Let me play the soundbite for him.
If it wasn't for the heroic action of the doctor and the caseworker, we believe he was there and going to reload that revolver and continue to fire and continue to kill.
All right, so in essence, he had 39 unspent bullets on him. He could have done tremendous harm inside this hospital system that, again, banned guns. So you got the bad guy with a gun, and thank God you had a good guy with a gun. And here we have a district attorney who even acknowledges, thank God, the doctor was armed.
That is correct. And the thing is that so many of the pro-gun, there's a lot of cliches, and a lot of slogans, and this really proves them all. Good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun. Police are minutes away when seconds count. That, all of those were borne out in this exact situation. I mean, that's one of the things that you kind of look at is that the silver lining here to that woman unfortunately losing her life is that this, basically in this one example, there is an answer to almost every single one of the liberal arguments for gun control.
Absolutely, and we're talking with attorney Edwin Walker. He is with Texas Law Shield. And Edwin, this was attorney Jack Whalen, the district attorney, who continued.
We believe the doctor certainly, from all of our accounts, would be acting in self-defense, but we are looking at that information.
And that's the key. I mean, obviously, if he's already shot somebody, the key for any gun owner is if you fear for your life, you have a right to defend yourself in most states, and I know that as a fact in Texas.
That's correct. And it's just a basic human right. I mean, the right to self-preservation is the number one fundamental natural right that we have. And, of course, people should be allowed to defend themselves in the most technologically advanced manner available. And in today's day and age, that is with a firearm.
So let me ask you, so the hospital system, which is Mercy Fitzgerald Hospital near Philadelphia, they ban guns in the 204-bed community. The only way that there would be civil action against this hero of a doctor would be if the owner of that hospital system was decided to take action against him. Is that it?
Well, in order to pursue any kind of civil action, there has to be damages. And in this case, the only person who would have any claim for damages would be the actual perpetrator, the man who got shot, and Pennsylvania has a civil liability immunity statute. So if somebody is killed or injured while they are basically in self-defense, then they have no valid claim against the person who did that. So with that, in the absence of some sort of monetary damages, there's no civil liability issues here.
And that's good, because I just worry about the liberal left and their craziness that they just might do something wild enough to try to hold this doctor accountable when he, as we said, by all accounts, saved lots of lives. Last question for you. Are you surprised at the lack of media coverage to this case? Because here we have, it got a lot of play the first day it happened, but not as much as if it would have gone down a different way, and then all of a sudden it fades from everybody's memories. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And in response to the comment that you just made, this is sort of like, nobody on the left, is crazy enough to try to demonize this doctor. I mean, it would be a fantastic PR move if they did, because that would be so far beyond the pale that it would really illustrate how loony these anti-gun people are and how far extremes they will go to. But what you're seeing is that you are seeing they're responding in the only way that their philosophy allows them to respond, is that, like I said, this is such a picture perfect, aside from the lady dying, this is such a picture perfect example of why gun control laws don't work and why people need to have firearms available for their own self-defense, that the only way the left can combat it is to try to ignore it.
Yep, isn't that the truth? Attorney Edwin Walker with Texas Law Shield, we appreciate you coming on and giving us your opinions on this.
Thank you, sir.